There's something magical about cooking with ingredients that you've harvested right from your garden. Today we're celebrating my favorite harvest season, tomato season, garden to table style. We're going to talk about how to grow tomatoes, how to harvest them, and make my favorite slow roasted tomato sauce. I'm Luay, urban gardener, recipe developer, and cookbook author based in Toronto, and welcome to my garden. Growing tomatoes is a lot easier than you think. They will grow in the ground, in raised beds like we have right here, or even in containers.
Choosing the right tomatoes to grow at the garden center can be really daunting, especially if you're hoping to make a big batch of sauce at the end of the season.
So let's talk about the different varieties that are available to you. Tomatoes can be categorized into two main varietals, indeterminates and determinates. Indeterminate tomatoes, like this one right here, will grow to an indeterminate length. This one's about 6 feet tall, but under ideal conditions, it could grow much taller than this. Indeterminate tomatoes will give you a small weekly harvest throughout the entire season. Determinate tomatoes, also called bush tomatoes, will grow to a predetermined size, usually somewhere between 3 to 5 feet tall, and they will set their fruits all at once. They are perfect for making sauce or for preserving the tomatoes for the winter season.
Within the two main categories, there are many varieties to choose from, each with its ideal use.
I personally love cherry tomatoes. I grow them for salads, for fresh eating, and so many other applications. They're not really ideal to make a roasted tomato sauce, however. Moving on, we have our slicers. As the name suggests, they're meant for slicing into salads, baking into galettes and pies. They can be used to make a roasted tomato sauce, but because they are juicier and seedier, they will need a longer roasting time. Last but certainly not least, paste tomatoes, also known as sauce tomatoes. These are tomatoes that are bred specifically to make sauce. They have thicker flesh, very few seeds, and they are perfect for the sauce we are about to make.
One of the trickiest parts of growing tomatoes at home can be dealing with pests. You want to make sure to harvest and enjoy them before the raccoons and squirrels get to them first.
Tomatoes are ready to harvest as soon as they start to blush. This means they're done growing and they're now focusing on ripening. You can harvest them at this stage and let them ripen completely on the counter in your kitchen. This is a tomato that I left on the vine for far too long. As you can see, it is cracked around the rim under the pressure of a recent rainstorm. Is it edible? Yes, just cut around the cracked part and enjoy the rest. Look what we just found, a tomato hornworm. This is one of the biggest pests a tomato grower will face. The thing is, they turn into a beautiful pollinating moth. So I'm going to transfer him to a trap crop or a trap tomato so that he can live out his life and become a beautiful pollinator for us.
For the sauce we're making today, we're going to harvest paste tomatoes like this Costoluto Genovese and Roma tomatoes. We're also going to grab some fresh sage and thyme. These woody herbs will slow roast nicely alongside the tomatoes.
And now that we're in the kitchen, it's time to get started on our roasted tomato sauce. The first thing we need to do is set the oven to 325 degrees. I've selected a large roasting tray for this project, a metal tray like this lined with a piece of parchment paper for easy cleanup. The reason why you want to pick a wide tray like this is to give the tomatoes a chance to breathe, lots of airflow for them to evaporate and turn into a gorgeous sauce for you. I need to get my cutting board set up for this. Let's go. So when you take your tomatoes, you're going to want to slice them right in half. And what that does is expose the fleshy center. Place them on your tray, cut side up. Repeat this for the rest of the tomatoes. We want them cut side up because that will allow the water inside the tomatoes to evaporate, concentrating the flavor and giving us a jammy tomato that will turn into a beautiful sauce. So keep working at this, slice all your tomatoes in half and lay them on the baking sheet. Now that our tomatoes are sliced and in our tray, we're going to be putting in our aromatics, garlic and sliced onion. First up, whole garlic. They will roast alongside the tomatoes and turn into these flavor bombs. Sliced onions also give a base for this sauce. Onions and garlic, of course, are the basis for so many different sauces. They add that je ne sais quoi flavor to sauce. You don't have to use them, but I like to add them to my sauce and they give a bit of a sweetness to it as well. Next up, we're gonna put in our woody herbs. We've selected thyme and sage for this recipe. Woody herbs like sage, thyme, oregano will slow roast alongside the tomatoes, impart a lot of flavor, and they won't burn. So just lay a few leaves over the tomatoes. You can also take small bunches of herbs and tuck them right between the tomato slices. When it comes to thyme, you can leave the thyme whole on the stem like this, or do what I do, which is just simply stripping the leaves right off and sprinkling them over your tomatoes. It's okay to get a little bit of stem. You could also take whole thyme stems and do the same as we did with the sage. Just tuck them neatly between the tomato slices, just like that.
Season the tomatoes with salt and pepper. For a tray like this, 1 teaspoon of salt is a good place to start. Remember that you can always add salt. You can take it out. You will have another opportunity to season the sauce after we blend it.
The final step here is to drizzle some good quality extra virgin olive oil all over your tomatoes. The olive oil is going to add tons of flavor, but it'll also help with the caramelization process and give your tomatoes that roasty, delicious, jammy flavor we're looking for. Roast for 45 to 60 minutes until your tomatoes are soft and caramelized. Beauty. Look at these tomatoes. Looking delicious. They are roasty, toasty, caramelized around the edges. They look great. So what you should do now is let them cool for about 15 minutes before you blend them. You don't want to blend the tomatoes when they're still piping hot. It could be a little dangerous. So give them about 15 minutes. But while you wait, remove some of the thyme stems. They've done the job. You don't need them in the sauce anymore. Now that our tomatoes have cooled for 15 minutes, we're going to transfer them into the blender. Go ahead and place all the tomatoes along with the herbs, the onions, and the garlic. We're going to blend on slow first and then transition over to high speed. And make sure to use all this leftover juice. This is where the flavor is. This is gonna be delicious. Here we go. Now that we blended this on low, it's still a little bit chunky. We might want to push the speed up a little bit further. Just to be on the safe side, if your tomatoes are still warm, cover the blender with a towel like this for your safety, okay? There we go. Our sauce is now ready to taste. What I really love about this recipe and this sauce in particular is the final color that you get out of it. It's not quite red, it's not quite orange, it's like somewhere in between. It's somewhere in a bowl. All right, let's give it a taste now that we've blended it a second time. It's so good, so good.
Now the sauce is currently on the loose side, which is perfect for pasta, stews, and soup. If you want to thicken it up, pour it into a pot, set it on medium-low heat, and let it simmer for 15 minutes or until it reaches your desired consistency.
Now that our sauce has simmered down, it's time to give it a taste and then adjust the seasoning to our preference. Let's give it a taste right now. Tastes quite good, but it does need a little bit more salt. I'm gonna go in here with about half a teaspoon. This is your sauce. You customize it the way you want. Add more salt, add less salt. It's really up to you. It's your recipe. You can even add some chili pepper in here, or maybe tone it down with a little bit of heavy cream. Our sauce is now ready, but maybe you're not ready to cook dinner tonight, so you could store it in the refrigerator for up to 5 days in a mason jar like this. Simply pour directly into the mason jar and seal it up. If you're not able to use the sauce within the next 5 days, you can freeze it. This is what I do. I love using these deli containers. They are reusable. Simply ladle the sauce directly into the deli container like so. Now make sure to leave about 1 centimeter of clearance or about ½ inch of clearance between the top of the sauce and the top of the deli container. This allows for the sauce to expand in the freezer and not make a mess. Label and date your sauce so that you know when it was made. Use it within the next 6 to 12 months. I hope that we have inspired you to use in-season produce, whether you're growing it yourself, buying it from the farmer's market, or from your local grocery store. This sauce is so versatile. Layer it over pasta, ladle it into lasagna, into curries and stews, and everything else that you can think of.